Have you ever left a conversation feeling completely drained, even though nothing bad actually happened? Sometimes the most dangerous people don't arrive with a warning, but with a subtle, quiet smile. Think of it like a slow leak in a tire you don't notice until you're stranded. We often ignore that nagging intuition because we are simply trying our best to be nice. Why do we silence that inner voice telling us something feels fundamentally off about a new friend? While you offer kindness, they might be planting seeds of chaos that will later bloom into disaster. What if the damage is already being done while you are just trying to be polite? This mysterious energy drain is rarely an accident. It is often a sign of a toxic presence. To protect your peace, you must learn to recognize the signals before the real harm begins. We have identified 5 specific ways to spot these individuals before they can compromise your mental health. Every toxic person leaves a trail of subtle clues, a hidden red flag waiting for your discovery. Pay close attention to how they weaponize gossip to build a false sense of instant intimacy. Notice how they react when you finally decide to set firm boundaries for the first time. Listen for the recurring theme of a victim mentality where everyone else is always at fault. Observe if they become unusually defensive when faced with the simplest questions about their past actions. These behaviors are not just quirks. They are the early indicators of a much deeper problem. Taking a moment to pause and reflect on these interactions can save you months of future heartache. You deserve to surround yourself with people who fuel your growth rather than consuming your vital energy. I'm sharing these secrets today because I want you to trust your gut once again. But remember, it is not just a passing feeling. It is a clear, dangerous pattern. By the time most people realize they are in a toxic situation, the damage is already done. We are going to stop that right now before your energy is completely drained away by others. To protect your peace, you need a reliable system to see right through the nice act. Think of this as a high-tech radar system designed specifically for your long-term social health. Are you truly willing to keep paying the steep price of being way too nice? Identifying a hidden red flag early can save you months of emotional exhaustion and silent suffering. Our guide establishes 5 specific methods to catch toxic individuals before they can cause lasting harm. These strategies act as a shield against those who thrive on creating chaos in your life. We must look past the surface to find the subtle signs of a true energy drain. The first sign involves observing how someone reacts when you finally start setting firm boundaries. A healthy person respects your space, but a toxic one will immediately become incredibly defensive. Watch closely for a persistent victim mentality where they are never responsible for their own actions. If every story they tell paints them as the martyr, you are likely dealing with a manipulator. Pay attention to the way they handle gossip when they think no one else is listening. People who talk badly about everyone else will eventually turn that same venom toward you too. This constant negativity is a major red flag that signals deep-seated toxicity within their character. You must learn to recognize these patterns before they take a permanent toll on your well-being. Our system empowers you to reclaim your time and focus on relationships that actually provide value. Do not ignore that gut feeling telling you that something is fundamentally wrong with the interaction. Spotting these behaviors early is the only way to prevent a total collapse of your mental clarity. We are building a wall of awareness that keeps the wrong people far away from you. Each of these 5 methods serves as a critical checkpoint for everyone you allow into your circle. Knowledge is your best defense against the subtle art of emotional and psychological manipulation. Stop letting others dictate your emotional state by learning to filter out the toxic noise. Now that you have the tools, let's look at the first trap most people fall into. Have you ever wondered why you seem to attract the most exhausting people in the room? It often feels like a magnetic pole drawing toxic personalities toward your kindest and most generous qualities. You might believe your empathy is a shield, but to some, it looks like an open invitation. The truth is that many toxic individuals mistake your genuine niceness for a total lack of boundaries. They see your willingness to listen as an opportunity to dump their endless and heavy energy drain. When you offer understanding, they view it as a green light to ignore your personal space entirely. This is a major red flag that many kind-hearted people miss until the damage is already done. Suddenly, your desire to help becomes a trap where you are constantly forced into a defensive position. You find yourself walking on eggshells, fearing that one wrong word will trigger a dramatic outburst. These manipulators often hide behind a carefully crafted victim mentality to keep you feeling perpetually guilty. They use your own goodness against you, making you feel responsible for their internal emotional chaos. Have you noticed how some people only reach out when they have a new piece of gossip? This constant stream of negativity is designed to test how much of their drama you will tolerate. If you don't push back early, they will continue to push until your boundaries have completely vanished. It is a calculated process of erosion that leaves you feeling empty and wondering where you went. But why does this happen specifically to the most agreeable people in our social circles? Toxic people are experts at spotting those who prioritize harmony over their own emotional well-being. They hunt for individuals who are likely to excuse bad behavior in the name of being polite. Your patience is a gift, but to a predator, it is simply a resource to be exploited. This is exactly why we must master the 5 specific ways to identify these toxic people early. Recognizing these patterns is the only way to protect your peace from those who would steal it. We must learn to distinguish between a genuine need for help and a strategic play for control. If you don't set a clear line now, the emotional cost will only continue to grow heavier. Let's break down the specific behaviors that signal someone is looking for a target, not a friend. Your empathy is your greatest strength, provided you know exactly who deserves to receive it. It starts with a simple conversation that initially feels normal before taking a strange, uncomfortable turn. Sign number 1 is clear. They aren't talking with you. They are talking at you. You might notice that no matter the topic, the conversation always finds its way back to them. This subtle shift is a massive red flag that your presence is merely serving as their audience. Watch closely when you try to share a personal story or provide your own unique perspective. A toxic person will frequently cut you off mid-sentence to ensure the focus remains entirely on themselves. It feels like an immediate energy drain, leaving you silenced and secondary in your own interaction. For these individuals, gaining attention is a higher priority than acknowledging your feelings or sharing your joy. Ask yourself honestly, do they even know what you just said before they started talking again? It is like playing tennis with someone who never hits the ball back to your side. Instead of a healthy volley, they just keep serving more and more balls at you without pause. This total lack of conversational boundaries is the first sign that your empathy is being exploited. If you try to point this out, they might quickly pivot into a defensive victim mentality. Their defensive reaction aims to make you feel guilty for simply wanting to be heard and understood. When was the last time this person truly stopped and asked about how your day actually went? Often, they fill the silence with gossip just to keep the spotlight burning brightly on them. They view your experiences as secondary obstacles to the constant attention they feel they rightfully deserve. You find yourself shrinking, waiting for a gap in their monologue that never actually seems to come. The frustration builds as your words are discarded before you can even finish your unique thought. This habit of interruption proves they value their own voice far more than your emotional well-being. But it gets worse than just being rude. There is a specific test you can use. Spotting this behavior early can save you months of emotional exhaustion and wasted conversational effort. I want you to try the 30-second red flag test the next time you meet them. Here is the exact diagnostic tool to spot the early signs of a major energy drain. In a healthy interaction, normal people listen intently and show genuine care for your words. They offer support by asking thoughtful questions when you share something personal or deeply meaningful. A balanced conversation feels like a partnership where both voices carry equal weight and importance. However, you must pay close attention to how quickly the spotlight shifts back onto them. This is where you can deploy the ultimate diagnostic test for spotting toxic behavior patterns. Watch your timer and see if they redirect the conversation in under 30 seconds. This rapid hijacking of the narrative is a major red flag you cannot afford to ignore. Sometimes they will feign relatability just to create a convenient bridge back to themselves. It feels like they are listening, but they are actually just waiting for their turn. They use your personal news as a mere tool to steal the focus for themselves. Your vulnerability becomes their platform, leaving you feeling unheard and suddenly very exhausted. Notice if they fail to ask a single follow-up question after you share something personal. A total lack of curiosity about your life is a clear sign of a one-way street. Why is your personal news just a bridge for them to start another long story? This behavior is not just defensive. It is a calculated way to maintain total control. When the conversation is a hijacking rather than a meeting, your energy begins to drain. You start to feel like an extra in someone else's never-ending and dramatic movie. Can they last 30 seconds without making it about them and their victim mentality? Watch if they pivot from your story into malicious gossip about someone you both know. Setting firm boundaries early is the only way to protect yourself from this emotional theft. If they fail this test, they likely fail the next sign of toxic behavior too. Prepare yourself, because their inability to own their actions is the next major warning. In a healthy relationship, an apology is a bridge, but for toxic people, it is a surrender. But what happens when you finally call them out for their hurtful behavior? Have you noticed that they rarely, if ever, admit they have done something wrong? Trying to get a genuine apology from them is like searching for water in a vast desert. Their ego acts as a massive shield, preventing them from ever taking responsibility for their actions. For them, saying, "I was wrong," feels like a fatal blow to their fragile sense of self. This total avoidance of accountability is a major red flag you simply cannot afford to ignore. When was the last time they offered an apology without adding a "but" at the end? Is their inflated ego truly more important than your feelings or the health of the relationship? They stay defensive, twisting the narrative until you are the one feeling guilty for speaking up. This constant shifting of blame is a classic hallmark of the draining victim mentality. Admitting a mistake requires a level of self-reflection that these individuals simply do not possess. Instead of healing the wound, they let the resentment grow while they protect their perfect image. Every time they refuse to own their choices, they slowly drain your emotional energy and peace. They would rather watch a bridge burn than admit they were the one who lit the match. This refusal to acknowledge harm creates a cycle where boundaries are constantly pushed and broken. You might find yourself questioning your own reality because they refuse to validate the truth. A toxic person views a mistake not as a lesson, but as a weakness to be hidden. They often use gossip to paint themselves as the hero while making you out to be the villain. If they never admit fault, they never have to change, keeping you stuck in their web. Your need for closure or an apology becomes a weapon they use to maintain their control. This lack of accountability creates a heavy energy drain that leaves you feeling exhausted and unheard. Watch closely for the person who treats every disagreement as a battle they must win. Their inability to apologize is the loudest signal that they value their ego over your connection. Instead of a sincere apology, you get something much more manipulative and confusing in its place. Have you ever wondered why some apologies leave you feeling even more frustrated than before? A sincere apology acts as a bridge, but for a toxic person, it feels like surrender. When a normal person makes a mistake, they genuinely apologize to clear the air between you. This healthy response involves a sincere effort to avoid repeating the same hurtful behavior again later. You will notice they take ownership of their actions without making any excuses for the damage. This creates a safe space where boundaries are respected and the relationship can finally move forward. However, encountering a toxic individual reveals a much darker and more defensive pattern of behavior. You will find that these individuals rarely, if ever, offer a true apology for their actions. For them, saying sorry is a major red flag that they might actually be at fault. They desperately avoid apologizing because it requires the painful admission that they were actually wrong. Instead of taking responsibility, they often pivot toward a victim mentality to gain your sympathy. This manipulation is a massive energy drain that leaves you questioning your own reality and feelings. Rather than changing their behavior, they focus on minimizing your experience to protect their fragile ego. They might use defensive gossip to shift the blame onto someone else and avoid being wrong. This defensive stance ensures they never have to face the consequences of their harmful choices. While a healthy person seeks growth, a toxic person seeks total avoidance of any personal guilt. Notice if they try to make you feel guilty for even bringing the issue up. Their refusal to admit fault is a clear sign that they value their pride over you. Understanding this contrast is essential for protecting your emotional well-being and setting firm boundaries. Watch closely for the change in behavior, as that is the only true mark of sincerity. They'll tell you it's your fault for being hurt, not their fault for hurting you. This is where the gaslighting begins, turning your valid pain into a personal character flaw. When you finally find the courage to speak up, the response is often cold and defensive. Instead of listening, toxic individuals immediately label your reaction as an overblown or irrational response. They might look you in the eye and insist that you are simply being too sensitive. Since when did having feelings and setting boundaries become a negative character flaw in a relationship? By calling you sensitive, they shift the focus away from their harmful actions and onto you. This classic move allows them to adopt a victim mentality, acting as if your hurt is bothering them. Defending your right to be upset creates a massive energy drain that leaves you feeling completely exhausted. If you press further, they'd pivot to another red flag. They claim they were just joking. They dismiss their mean comments as lighthearted humor, even when those words cut deep like a knife. Is it really a joke if nobody is laughing and the atmosphere feels heavy and tense? Using humor as a shield is a defensive tactic designed to evade any sense of personal responsibility. When you say it hurts and they double down on the joke, your boundaries are being ignored. It's like someone stepping on your foot and then getting angry at you for screaming in pain. In contrast, normal people offer a sincere apology when they realize they have caused someone distress. A healthy partner values your feelings more than their need to be right or stay funny. Instead of repeating the mistake, a supportive friend makes a conscious effort to avoid hurting you again. Healthy connections are built on respect, while toxic ones rely on dismissing your internal emotional reality. Remember that impossible apology we discussed earlier. This dismissal is the first step in that cycle. Your feelings are a valid compass, not a sign of weakness that needs to be corrected. Watch for the pattern of defensive behavior, as it signals a total lack of empathy and care. If they treat you this way to your face, imagine what they say behind your back. Pay attention to the body count of the reputations they have already destroyed. There is a specific way these individuals try to bond with you right away. They often pull you into a world filled with endless gossip and unnecessary drama. It feels like an exclusive club, but the entry fee is someone else's character. You might feel special being their confidant, but this is a dangerous red flag. Toxic people frequently engage in gossip to control the narrative of those around them. They use other people's failures as a convenient pedestal for their own fragile ego. By constantly putting others down, they desperately try to enhance their own self-esteem. Why do they only feel big when they make everyone else look so small? This behavior is a desperate attempt to feel superior without actually achieving anything. A high frequency of negative conversations about others is a major marker of toxicity. If their only way to connect is through negativity, the relationship is already poisoned. This constant stream of malice creates a massive energy drain on your mental health. Is bonding through shared hate really a connection, or is it just a trap? They become highly defensive the moment you try to set healthy boundaries for conversation. Their victim mentality ensures that someone else is always the villain in their story. Watching them dismantle a friend's reputation should make you feel very uneasy. The drama serves as a smokescreen to hide their own deep internal insecurities. If they speak poorly of everyone else, you are certainly not the sole exception. Their words are weapons used to elevate themselves at the expense of others' peace. Every whispered secret is a tool they use to keep you under their influence. Realize that a person who brings you gossip will eventually take gossip from you. This cycle of negativity is designed to keep you emotionally tethered to their drama. True confidence does not require the destruction of another person's name or reputation. And here is the paradox you need to understand about their empty words. This is the gossip paradox, a hidden trap that reveals exactly how someone views their social world. If they are giving you the inside scoop on everyone else, who becomes the subject when you leave? Toxic people often build a sense of connection by tearing other people down in your presence. It feels like an exclusive bond, but this shared negativity is actually a massive red flag. You might feel special hearing their secrets, but what really makes you think you are the exception? If a person is willing to gossip about others to you, they are certainly gossiping about you. A snake does not stop biting just because you are the one currently holding it safely. This false bonding creates a shaky foundation that eventually turns into an intense energy drain for you. The moment you turn your back, your private life becomes the new currency for their next conversation. They use your vulnerability as social leverage, trading your trust for a moment of shallow attention elsewhere. When you realize this, you must set firm boundaries to protect yourself from their constant social sabotage. Their primary method of relating to others is through the destruction of someone else's character and reputation. Ask yourself if a secret shared with you is really a secret, or is it just ammunition? This behavior is never about the person being discussed. It is about the gossiper's own deep insecurities. You are not an ally in their eyes. You are simply an audience for their latest performance. Every piece of information you provide is categorized, filed away, and prepared for a future betrayal. Trying to remain neutral is exhausting, leading to a defensive state that slowly eats away at your peace. Remember the body count of reputations we discussed. Your name is likely the next one added. Their loyalty is a mirage, vanishing the instant someone more interesting walks into the room with fresh news. Believing you are safe from their tongue is a dangerous mistake that many people realize too late. But toxic people don't just attack others. They often play the role of the ultimate victim. This brings us to the fourth major red flag you should watch for: the perpetual victim. They want you to see them as a casualty of life, but they are actually the architect. Toxic people often present themselves as the victim in every single situation, regardless of the actual facts. Have you ever noticed how the entire world always seems to be conspiring against this one person? They are the arsonist who complains about the thick smoke while holding the match in their hand. This consistent narrative of suffering is a calculated strategy used to harvest your attention and deep pity. By painting themselves as the underdog, they trigger your natural empathy and lower your healthy boundaries. They thrive on the energy drain that comes from you constantly trying to fix their broken lives. In their stories, they are never the villain, only the misunderstood soul facing impossible, unfair odds. Is it really just bad luck, or is it a clever strategy for constant validation and attention? This victim status serves a much darker purpose than just getting a few sympathetic words from you. It allows them to completely avoid taking any personal responsibility for their own repeated life failures. If everything is someone else's fault, then they never have to change or grow as a person. They use their supposed trauma as a shield to deflect any legitimate criticism of their harmful behavior. When you try to hold them accountable, they immediately become defensive and start the cycle all over. Remember the impossible apology from before? This victim mentality is the foundation of that toxic refusal. They weaponize their pain to make you feel guilty for even suggesting they might be wrong. Their life is a series of tragic events where they are always the innocent party being mistreated. Every failure at work or in a relationship is blamed on a jealous boss or cruel partner. This constant state of crisis keeps you hooked, feeling like you are the only one who understands. But realize that this victim is actually using your kindness to escape the consequences of their actions. They demand your loyalty while offering nothing but a front row seat to their self-inflicted chaos. It is an exhausting loop that leaves you empty while they move on to the next ear. Stop falling for the tragic backstory and start looking at the trail of destruction they leave behind. Wait until you see the one common factor in every single story they tell about their past. If every single person in their past is crazy, what is the common denominator in those relationships? Look for the pattern, not the stories, to reveal the truth behind their recurring interpersonal conflicts. It is easy to feel sympathy when they describe a long history of being mistreated by others. But at what point do we stop looking at the stories and start looking at the source? Is the whole world really wrong, or is it just them driving every connection into the ground? Their victim mentality creates a narrative where they are always the hero or the tragic casualty. This constant energy drain occurs because they refuse to take responsibility for any of their own actions. Notice how these defensive responses flare up whenever someone suggests they might be part of the problem. In every drama they describe, they are the only person who remains unchanged and completely blameless. They claim their boundaries were crossed, yet they are the ones constantly leaving a trail of destruction. Think of it this way: if everywhere you walk it smells like smoke, eventually check your shoes. If every bridge they have ever crossed is burned, they are the one holding the lit match. This recurring pattern across all areas of life is a massive red flag you cannot afford to ignore. Toxic people use these stories to camouflage the fact that they are the primary source of conflict. They weaponize gossip about their past abusers to gain your immediate trust and your deepest empathy. You might think you are special, but you are just the next character in their repeating cycle. Their history isn't just a series of bad luck. It is a roadmap of their true character. A person who has problems with everyone they meet will eventually have a problem with you too. The light bulb moment happens when you realize they are the only constant in every single failed relationship. Recognizing this pattern early saves you from becoming another crazy person in their next sad story. Once they have you hooked with pity, they start the next phase of their toxic strategy. They begin testing you to see how much of their behavior you are willing to actually tolerate. The final sign is the most dangerous because it's a slow burn that consumes your peace. They aren't just being demanding. They are running a calculated stress test on your personal limits. Think of a hacker trying every password until they find the one that finally lets them in. Are they asking for a simple favor, or are they checking for a hidden weakness in you? Toxic people systematically test your boundaries to determine exactly how much they can get away with today. They want to see where your defenses crumble before you even realize a battle has begun. This dangerous cycle typically begins with small, harmless-looking favors that seem almost too trivial to mention. It starts with a tiny request for your time or energy that feels rude to decline. You might feel guilty for even noticing the imposition, which is exactly what they want to happen. This subtle push against your boundaries is a major red flag that many people ignore until later. Once you say yes to the small things, they begin to escalate into much larger transgressions. Each small concession acts like a slow energy drain, weakening your resolve for the next bigger request. If you eventually stand up for yourself, they often become defensive or play the victim immediately. They use their victim mentality to make you feel like the villain for simply protecting your space. They might even use gossip to paint you as difficult to others when you finally say no. Have you ever wondered why saying no feels so heavy when you are dealing with them? They are checking to see if your boundaries are made of solid stone or shifting sand. This isn't an accident. It's a systematic approach to finding the path of least resistance in you. They push and push until they find the exact point where you finally decide to react. By the time you notice the pattern, they have already moved the goalposts of your relationship. This slow-motion invasion of your privacy is designed to make the extreme behavior feel normal. Recognizing these early tests is the only way to stop the cycle before it destroys your peace. It starts small, so small you'll feel guilty for even noticing the shift in their behavior. This is how the escalation looks in real time, turning minor slights into major intrusions. It starts when they show up late, then quickly shifts to canceling plans last minute. Suddenly, they are standing at your door unannounced, assuming your time belongs to them. They might borrow your favorite things and never return them, testing your willingness to complain. Think of it like someone moving your backyard fence just 1 inch every single night. By the time you notice the change, you have lost all your territory and peace. This subtle boundary testing is a major red flag that reveals their lack of respect. Ask yourself why your time should be less valuable than their every sudden whim. The moment you try to set a limit, you will see their mask finally slip. Normal people will apologize and respect your boundaries once you make them very clear. But a toxic person reacts to boundaries with immediate anger or intense, cold defensiveness. They will claim you are being difficult or sensitive just to avoid taking any responsibility. This defensiveness is a tactic used to make you feel guilty for having any needs. They might even use your own empathy against you, fueling a massive energy drain. If you do not stand your ground now, the cycle of disrespect will only accelerate. Recognizing this victim mentality and defensive behavior is the first step toward your freedom. From the constant gossip to the angry outbursts, the pattern of behavior is now clear. The pattern is undeniable, and your peace of mind is currently hanging in the balance. You have spotted the red flags, so how will you choose to move forward tonight? You've seen the signs, and now you must decide exactly what to do with them. This is your official permission slip to stop prioritizing their feelings over your own mental health. Count them up right now and see how many of these behaviors you have actually witnessed. If someone exhibits 3 or more of these toxic traits, you are officially in the danger zone. Think of it as 3 strikes and they are out because your life is not a game. Perhaps you notice their defensive nature or the way they constantly drain your energy every single day. Maybe their habit of toxic gossip and a constant victim mentality finally started to make sense today. Every red flag you ignored was a warning sign that your boundaries were being slowly dismantled. It is finally time to stop being nice and start being honest about what you need. Creating distance is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of deep and necessary self-preservation. You must prioritize your peace of mind over the comfort of someone who consistently drains you. We have used 5 distinct methods to uncover the truth about the people you allow nearby. When you feel that familiar energy drain, remember the specific patterns we have just identified together. Now that you see the full picture, you have the power to decide who stays. Choosing to walk away is the strongest boundary you can ever set for your own future. How many more signs do you really need before you choose to protect your own heart? Trust your instincts when they tell you that a relationship has become a one-way street of exhaustion. This clarity is your greatest weapon against the confusion that toxic people use to control you. You no longer have to wonder if you are overreacting because the evidence is now clear. If the count hits 3, the 3-trait rule says it is time to protect your peace. Distance isn't mean. It is a necessary step toward a healthier version of yourself. Have you ever felt that sudden, cold dread when you finally decide to walk away? The moment you start creating distance, the atmosphere shifts and a new battle begins. You are not just leaving a conversation. You are dismantling an entire dynamic they rely on. It is important to understand exactly how they will try to pull you back in. When you stop providing the energy they crave, their primary source of control starts fading. Watch closely as they realize their typical red flag behavior no longer works on you. This is the critical moment where their reaction reveals the truth behind their mask. Most toxic people view your healthy boundaries as a personal attack on their power. Instead of respecting your space, they will likely become defensive and shift the blame. You might notice an immediate surge of anger that seems completely out of proportion. They want to make you feel like you are the one causing the conflict. If anger fails to work, they will pivot quickly to a more subtle tactic. Prepare yourself for the heavy weight of guilt tripping designed to trigger your empathy. They will play the victim mentality card, making their struggle the center of attention. This emotional manipulation is a desperate attempt to stop the energy drain they feel. Do not let their defensive words convince you that you are doing something wrong. Their explosive reaction is actually proof that your boundaries are working exactly as intended. By predicting these reactions now, you strip away their power to surprise or hurt. Stay firm in your decision, even when the gossip begins to circulate behind your back. This phase is temporary, but your peace of mind will be a permanent reward. You know exactly whose face just popped into your head as we discuss these toxic warning signs. That immediate gut reaction is the most honest answer you will ever receive from your own intuition. The choice is yours today to decide if you will continue carrying this heavy, invisible emotional weight. Look back at the behaviors we explored, from the victim mentality to those sharp, defensive reactions. Think about the constant gossip and the subtle ways your boundaries were tested and then slowly ignored. If someone in your life exhibits 3 or more of these red flags, it is time to act. This 3-trait rule is a vital shield designed to protect your peace from further intentional damage. Are you ready to reclaim your energy from someone who only knows how to drain it away? Imagine finally taking off a heavy backpack you did not even realize you were forced to wear. The lightness you feel in that moment is the first step toward a life defined by genuine respect. Identify the specific individuals who trigger a sense of dread every time their name appears on screen. Commit to distancing yourself starting right now to preserve the well-being you have worked so hard for. You do not owe an explanation to anyone who consistently ignores your boundaries or weaponizes toxic gossip. Silence is often the most powerful boundary you can set against someone who refuses to change. Walking away is not an act of cruelty, but a necessary step toward a much more peaceful life. Your mental health is worth more than the comfort of someone who refuses to take any responsibility. What will your life look like once you are no longer managing someone else's constant emotional chaos? This is the end of the energy drain and the beginning of your recovery and self-preservation. You have the tools now to spot the red flags before they have a chance to take root. Click here to learn exactly how to heal and move forward once they are finally gone.